Water Lake in Stanley. These races are sponsored by the Curve Inn in Stanley. That's live ice racing action at 11:45 a.m. on Saturday, January 30th on NLWN TV. Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
Over to Heidorn, drives down the left side, lays it up and in. And the Vikings draw first blood.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV proudly presents tonight's Colfax Viking boys varsity basketball game.
Underneath the reback, lays it up and puts it in.
Great pass by Noah Heidorn.
Join us as we head out to the gym for tonight's Viking basketball.
Back out high to Gibson, three-pointer on the way, off the front of the iron, rolls around and in. That hit the rim about 4 different places before it decided to go down and in.
And welcome to our coverage of the boys' game tonight at Elmwood between the Vikings and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Rick Olson here along with Dan Petschow. And Dan, let's see, I think we've got enough time maybe to get the starting lineups in. Why don't you try to tell us who's going to be in this game?
Yeah, here's the starters for Elmwood Plum City tonight. They're going to go with junior number 10, Dane Whipple. Senior number 15, Basil Gillis. Senior number 21, Elijah Gansluckner. Junior number 22, Luke Webb. And senior number 24, Tyler Bauer. For the Colfax Vikings, they're going to go with junior number 4, Nathan Hajdukovic. Senior number 15, Caden Erickson. Senior number 21, Tanner Hoffman. Senior number 23, Noah Heidorn. And senior number 33, Drew Gibson.
Okay, and that just about does it. And I believe we're getting ready for the national anthem from Elmwood, so let's tune into that one. And we're back here looking in at Elmwood High School. We want to thank Elmwood for providing us with the video feed. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to bring you tonight's game. And Dan and I want to do that, that's for sure. And we're getting ready for the starting lineups from Elmwood. And I think what we'll do is we'll just turn it back over to their announcer and hear what they have to say. Well, it looks like our signal from Elmwood has frozen up. And so while they work on trying to get that back, we will take this short timeout. You're tuned to Colfax Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
And as you can see, we still don't have a signal coming from Elmwood, so we're going to try to reconnect that and see if that's what the issue is. Sometimes this takes a little longer than we would like, but we'll do the best we can here and try to get this taken care of. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that the signal is going to come back nice and strong. And it's trying really hard. And let's see what's going on here. Yeah, it sounds as if we have something there, and it's going to take just a moment to get the signal up and running for you to be able to see. Dan, why don't you go through some of that information you've got on the Wolves while I try to get this taken care of?
Yeah. The records tonight, Elmwood Plum City comes in with a 6-5 record. Colfax comes in with 4-6. So here's some of the keys to my game tonight. Colfax has to make sure they control the ball. They want to box out, keep their leading scorer, number 22, Luke Webb, who is scoring 14.8 points per game. They got to keep him out of the paint and out of the baseline. They need to rebound the ball as much as possible tonight. And don't let Elmwood get any second chance points. That's going to be a big key. And make sure they hit their free throws towards the end. Here's some of Elmwood Plum City's scorers so far this season. Luke Webb leads the team with 14.8 points per game. Basil Gillis, number 15, he has 11.2 points per game. Number 10, Dana Whipple, has 7.8 points per game. Number 24, Tyler Bauer, he has 7.1 points per game. For the Colfax Vikings, their scores right now, their leading scorer is number 15, Caden Erickson. He leads the team with 13.4 points per game. Number 33, Drew Gibson, their senior, he's averaging 8.7 points per game.
And Dan, we do have the signal
All
back
right.
from Elmwood. The Elmwood Plum City Wolves currently have a 7-6 lead over the Vikings. And we'll get that up for you like right now. There we go. I think we've got it together now. And so it's now 10-6 as Elmwood just made the 3, and it's answered with a 2-pointer from Caden Erickson for the Vikings, and the Wolves inbound the ball. They get it to Webb. Webb is the big presence right in the middle of the floor and trying to bring it across the timeline. The Wolves take a seat on the floor, and we have a scramble for the ball. They call a jump ball, and it's possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Or check that, it's in favor of the Wolves. Dan Sluckner to inbound it for Elmwood Plum City. And he gets it in, and they come across the timeline with Dane Whipple. Whipple gets it down into the corner to Gillis. Gillis with a turnaround move off to the left side. It's no good. And down the floor quickly come the Vikings. And right to the hole and up, and no good is the shot by Reback. And Elmwood Plum City comes down with the ball. They get it down into the right corner, put the shot up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Webb. He goes right back up with it and puts it in the hole. 12-8, Elmwood Plum City on top. Down the floor come the Vikings. Hydorn on the dribble. Gets it out high to Reback. Now over to the right side to Erickson. He's high, wide, and right. Back out between the circles to Reback. Over to Hydorn. Hydorn takes it between the circles, down the left side of the lane. Kicks it out into the corner, three-pointer on the way, and it's good. The three-pointer goes in, and that was by Nate Hajdukovic. And down the floor come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. They feed it to the lane, now to the right baseline. And as he was trying to drive in, he drew a foul by Hajdukovic. It was Gillis on the dribble coming down the right baseline, and Hajdukovic tried to cut off the baseline, but just didn't get there in time. Got him with the body. Wolves inbound it. They get it out to Webb, high, wide, and right. Now down into the right corner. That's to Bartz, it looks like. And the shot goes up. We have a whistle and a foul. And it looks like, yeah, I think maybe Reback is who was guilty. Basil Gillis at the line. His first shot's off the back of the iron and no good. And Gillis gets the ball for his second attempt. It goes up. It's also good. Or it's good that time. And so the Wolves have a 13-8 lead. Vikings in the backcourt. Long pass down into the forecourt to Erickson. Lays it up. It's no good. Len's up on the rebound, but we have a whistle and a foul. And evidently Erickson was fouled.
Follows by number 15, Basil Gillis.
Erickson's first shot is good. And the second shot is on the way. It's off the back of the iron, no good. And Elmwood Plum City comes down with the ball. They now say the score is 13-12. I don't know how we got from 8 to 12 on that one time down the floor, but and a three-pointer on the way, and it's good. And that's Zach Hartung from the right side. So it's 16-12. Vikings down by 4. They take it down the right side of the lane. Reebok with the shot, no good. He gets the rebound. Kicks it out high to Lenz. Lenz between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side to Reebok. Reebok tries to take it down to the baseline. Gets it to Erickson. He sends it back out to Heidorn. Drives down the lane. Lays it up and it goes in. Noah Heidorn with the lay-in coming from the front side. Elmwood Plum City back down the floor. They feed it down towards the baseline to Luke Webb. He can't get it before it goes out of bounds. And the Vikings will inbound. Reebok tries to get it in, but it's kicked out of bounds by Tyler Bauer. So the Vikings will try it again. Inbound pass to Hajdukovic. He gets it back over to Reebok. Still in the backcourt. He puts on the Jets, tries to split the defense, and we're going to get a foul called on Elmwood Plum City. One of the two guys that he tried to go through evidently got a foot on the ball or something, but he did go to the scorer's table and give a number. Down the floor come the Vikings, and Tanner Hoffman, or Noah Heidorn. Difference between a 1 and a 3 is sometimes hard to tell when we're watching it remotely. And the Wolves bring it across the timeline. Over to the right side. Shot goes up. It's good from 3. And we're going to get a foul also. So Basil Gillis is going to go to the line. Well, no, it's Whipple. Dane Whipple to the line. Doing the 4-pointer. And the shot is good. And the Vikings bring it down the floor. Heidorn gets it across the timeline. Now they've got it to Lenz on the right side. Back out high to Heidorn. Heidorn between the circles and moves over to the right side. He's outside the arc. Now goes into the lane, puts it up, no good. Rebound. And it gets tipped around, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by the Vikings. So Elmwood Plum City is going to inbound it. Tyler Bauer to inbound the ball. Ball goes into Whipple, who brings it down the floor. Goes right through the center circle. Takes it to the top of the key. Now over to the left side. That's Bauer with it. Now out to the top of the key to Whipple. Down to the baseline. The shot goes up. It's out of bounds off of Elmwood Plum City.
Yeah, good job by number 4, Nathan Hajdukovic there to get the block and get the turnover.
Into the Viking lineup is Tanner Hoffman. Gets it into Lenz. Lenz is double teamed in the backcourt. A little bit of trouble. Gets it back over to Hoffman. Feeds it down into the forecourt to Hajdukovic. Down into the left corner. 3-pointer on the way. Off the iron. No good. Rebound being chased down. And it's out of bounds. And they're saying last touch by the Vikings. Now the Vikings actually screened Elmwood Plum City from getting the ball. I think they thought Elmwood Plum City was the last team to touch it. But the officials didn't see it that way, and the Wolves have it at the right baseline. Driving toward the basket, shot goes up, and we get a blocked shot. And down the floor come the Vikings. Hajdukovic fed it over to Hoffman. Gets it over to Lenz. Lenz goes up with it, doesn't get it, and the Wolves have the rebound. They come down the floor. This is Hartung. Then he gets it down into the corner to Bauer. Bauer's shot goes up. No good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Heidorn across the timeline. Takes it over to the right side to Lenz at the top of the key. Back over to Heidorn on the right. He takes it down to the right baseline. Now back out to Hoffman. Hoffman into the lane to Lenz. Lenz drives down, turns around, puts it up. It's no good, but they're saying he took an extra step. So the ball goes over to Elmwood Plum City. 20-16. The Elmwood Plum City Wolves on top of the Vikings. With 9:08 to go in the first half. Wolves come down across the timeline. Pelzel is the one bringing it down. Was the one bringing it down the floor, and as he tried to get it over to the right side, it went off a Viking foot. So the Wolves inbound it. They get it out to Bauer. Back over to Pelzel. Now back over to the right side. Shot goes up. It's a little bit overshot, but rebound taken down by Bauer, and he lays it up and in. 22-16. Vikings come down the floor with it. Feed it off to the right side to Hajdukovic. Takes it out high. Tries to get it to Lenz going down deep, and he tries to lay it in and can't make it go. And quickly down the floor come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Rebound by Pelzel, but he loses control out of bounds, and it'll be Viking ball. Well, now they switched the call. I was sure the guy pointed in the way of the Vikings, but they changed it. It's Elmwood Plum City ball. So they inbound it down underneath. Now out to the left side. Its shot is up, no good by Bartz. The putback shot is up and in. And we have a timeout on the floor. With 8:13 to go in half number one, it's Elmwood Plum City 24, Vikings 16. And you are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Rick Olson, Dan Petchow bringing you the game from Elmwood. Vikings and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Vikings have the ball. They just inbounded it and bringing it down the floor. Ball gets knocked out of bounds by Elmwood as they came across the timeline. So Tanner Hoffman will inbound it for the Vikings. Vikings down by 8. Hoffman gets it in. Erickson has it between the circles. Gets it over to the right side to Heidorn. Or check that, that's the left side. One of these days I'll learn my left and my right. Anyway, the Vikings have it. Try to drive into the lane. Shot goes up. It does not go in. We have a whistle. And evidently they're calling it out of bounds. I thought it was a foul that would send Erickson to the line, but no, I guess not. Vikings inbound the ball. It got loose, and they had to chase it down all the way back into the backcourt. Hoffman with it. Gets it over to Heidorn on the left. Takes it to the top of the key. Gives it to Hoffman. Hoffman with a three, and he puts it in. Nice shot by Tanner Hoffman. 24-19. And here come the Wolves right back down the floor on the right side. They get it over into the corner. Shot goes up. Three-pointer by Gillis. It's no good. And the Vikings bring it back down the floor. Top of the key with it. Heidorn lays it up off the glass. It's good. 24-21. Vikings cut it to 3. And here come the Wolves right back. Vikings scrapping to get back in it. Gillis gets it over to the right side. Bauer has it now. High, wide, and right. Tries to get into the lane, gets knocked right back out to him. Now over to Pelzel. And we have a timeout on the floor by Elmwood Plum City. So with 6:44 to go in the first half, the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 24. And the Vikings 26-21. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
You're tuned to the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. We use advertising revenue to make this service available to you. If you have a business and would like to get your message out to our ever-increasing audience, give us a call at 715-563-1749. We'll be happy to discuss our budget-friendly advertising packages with you. Get your business noticed on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV by calling 715-563-1749.
And we're back here taking a look in at Elmwood High School. And the Wolves to inbound. And they get it into Pelzel in the backcourt. Feeds it over into the right side of the front court. That's to Gansluckner, down into the corner. Driving the baseline, gets it over to Bauer, puts the shot up and good. That was Luke Webb driving the baseline, and then he passed it off to the other side, and Bauer checked that. Bauer drew the foul as well as getting the basket. So he's got a shot for the third point. 26-21. Elmwood Plum City on top. Elijah Gansluckner with the free throw. 27-21, Vikings down by 6. Hoffman with it in the backcourt. Gets it over to Heidorn. Heidorn puts it to the floor. Now passes it up into the forecourt. Comes back to Hoffman. Over to Heidorn. Drives into the lane. Tries to get it to Lenz at the baseline. He gets it. Then tries to feed it out to Erickson. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds. And they're going to say that was off the Vikings?
They're saying it's off Caden Erickson.
And Caden Erickson was nowhere near the ball. And now they're having a little discussion. Let's see if they don't change their mind on this one. And they did. They reversed the decision, and it's going to the Vikings. From our angle, it was clear that the Elmwood Plum City guy cut in between and knocked the ball out of bounds. Caden never even touched it. And official with a little different angle was able to see that. So anyway, now Heidorn has it between the circles for the Vikings. Gets it over to the left side to Hoffman. Hoffman with a three-pointer, and he hit the three-pointer. 27-24. Vikings cut it to 3. High pass gets intercepted by the Vikings. Lenz has it, but he lost control. Goes into the backcourt, gets picked up by the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. They feed it down into the right corner. And then get it out high to Gansluckner. Over to Whipple on the left side, down into the corner to Bauer. Bauer gets it to Webb at the baseline post. They're down at the low post. The ball gets knocked out of bounds. This one was off the Vikings. So the Wolves to inbound. They get it down into the left corner. Three-pointer on the way. It's no good, but the rebound is taken down by, it appears to be Whipple, and he laid it up and in. 29-24. Vikings come down the floor. It's Heidorn with it. Gets a cross-court pass. Over to Albright, and then they get it back over to Heidorn, high, wide, and right. Heidorn gets it to the free throw line. Hands it off to Lenz. Now to Hoffman on the left side. Now he's at the top of the key. Gets it over to Heidorn. Pass over to Hoffman on the left side. Drives into the lane. Puts the shot up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by the Wolves. And down the floor come the Wolves. Whipple with it. Now they've got it at the free throw line, and we've got a whistle. I'm not sure who the foul is on, but Basil Gillis is going to go to the line. I remember back in the old days, back when I was in high school, if they called a foul on you, you had to raise your hand.
Yeah, we used to like to get a foul once in a while. We always would raise our hand, but not anymore.
And the shot goes up and in by Gillis. Elmwood Plum City is in the bonus. And Gillis is getting his bonus shot now. Off the back of the iron and down through. 31-24, Vikings down by 7. Pass over to Reebok in the backcourt. Gets it over to Heidorn. Now he takes it across the timeline. And a timeout called by the Vikings. So with 4:17 to go in the first half, it's Elmwood Plum City 31 and the Vikings 24. You are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
NLWN TV is excited to present live NWA Ice racing action. Next Saturday, January 30th, we will present racing from Stanley, Wisconsin. Join us at 11:45 a.m. from Otter Lake in Stanley. These races are sponsored by the Curve Inn in Stanley. That's live ice racing action at 11:45 a.m. on Saturday, January 30th on NLWN TV.
And I want to bring your attention on that last ad you just saw for the ice racing. Our coverage on that on Saturday is actually going to be at 10:45, not 11:45. They've moved everything up because they have a whole lot more racers than they've expected, and they're fighting daylight, so they have to start a little bit earlier. So our coverage will start at 10:45. Vikings have the ball. Heidorn has it, high, wide, and right. Drives into the lane, stops, puts the shot up, and it goes in. 31-26. And Reebok stole it, but as soon as he did, he stepped out of bounds. So the ball goes back over to Elmwood Plum City. And the Wolves bring it down the floor. Whipple with it. Gets it over to the right side to Webb. Out high to Gansluckner. Over to the left side to Bauer. Back out high to Webb. Over to the right side now to Gansluckner. And then to Webb again at the top of the key. Then they feed it over to Bauer. He tries to put the jumper up from the free throw line. It doesn't go. Ball gets chased down by Whipple, and he feeds it over to Gansluckner on the left. High, wide, and left. Then over to Webb at the top of the key, and we're going to get a timeout by the Vikings. So with a timeout on the floor, let's take a look at another ad. You're tuned to Viking basketball, the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Well, now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Hey, I want to remind you that our next boys basketball game, to be covered by the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV, it won't be until Monday, February 8th, when the Vikings travel to Spring Valley to take on the first place Spring Valley Cardinals. We'll bring you that game remotely with Viking pregame at 6:55 and live play-by-play starting at 7:10. The Wolves inbound it. Whipple has it between the circles. Gets it over to the left side. That's Bartz. Tries to feed it toward the lane. The Vikings take it away, and then they lose control as they go to the floor, and I think we're going to get a foul on the Wolves.
Yeah, fouls on number 15, Basil Gillis.
So the Vikings inbound it on the near side. They get it to Heidorn. He takes it down the right side of the lane, gets it out to Erickson from the free throw line, puts it up, bounces around on the rim. It does not go down. And the Wolves get the rebound, bringing it down the floor. Ball gets tipped. It goes out of bounds. It will be the Wolves' ball down on the baseline. But at least the Vikings broke up the fast break.
Yeah, good job. And number 15, Caden Erickson, to get back, play defense.
So the Wolves to inbound. They get it into Whipple. On the right side, takes it down to the right corner, drives to the baseline, feeds it into the lane. That was to Webb, I do believe. And it went in. Yes, that was Luke Webb on that shot. Heidorn with it. from the free throw line, puts up the shot. He also answers right back. 33-28. Vikings trailing by 5. Down the floor come the Wolves. They've got it on the right side. Bartz, and then he gets it out high to get it over to the left side. Into the lane to Gillis. Then the shot goes up from Gansluckner. It's no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Heidorn with it across the timeline. Now he's between the circles. Drives into the lane. Lays it up. It goes through. It's going to count, and we're going to get a foul on Webb, I do believe. As the foul is on Luke Webb. And Heidorn is going to go to the line, 33-30. Heidorn looking to cut it to 2. With 1:49 to go in the first half. Heidorn's first shot is up. It rolls around. It does not go in. Ball gets chased around, finally taken away by the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Gansluckner to bring it down the floor for the Wolves. Across the timeline. Feeds it down into the right corner to Bauer. Bauer brings it out to the free throw line, extended to the right. Tries to feed it to Webb. Webb loses the handle on it, and we're going to get a foul called on Tristan Lenz for the Vikings. As Lenz is only giving up an inch to Webb. He's the one that can compete with him height-wise. Webb goes to the line, puts up a shot. It's no good. Rebound gets knocked around. It's off the Vikings. It's going to be Elmwood Plum City ball. 33-30. The Wolves on top. They inbound the ball. Pelzo. Then they get it out around to the left side. Bartz has it. Then Pelzel. Then they get it over to Gansluckner, now out at the top of the key. And now over to the left side. It's Gansluckner with it. Gets it out to Pelzel. Now they feed it over into the right corner. That's Webb. And now out to Bauer at the top of the key. Back over to Webb on the right. To Gansluckner between the circles. And then over to the left side. The three-pointer went up. It rattled around. Got about 2/3 of the way down, but rattled its way right back out again. And the Vikings come down the floor. Heidorn with it. Drives the lane, puts up the shot. No, but he got fouled on the way in. Noah Heidorn to go to the line for 2. And the Elmwood Plum City coach doesn't really think too much of that call. First shot is up and in. Noah Heidorn with a chance to cut it to 1. Second shot on the way. It's off the front of the iron. No good. Ball gets chased down by Albright. He feeds it over to Reebok. And then out to Heidorn. Heidorn between the circles. Takes it to the free throw line. Jumper from the free throw line. It's way short. That must have been partially blocked. That came up so far short. And Elmwood Plum City comes back down the floor quickly. They feed it to Pelzel, who tries to feed it toward the lane. Ball gets loose on the floor, and we're going to get a jump ball called. Hajdukovic scrapping on the floor with Austin Bartz for Elmwood Plum City. And it came out a draw. Vikings have the possession arrow, and we have a timeout on the floor. So with 13.4 seconds to go in the half, I think the Vikings want to talk about what kind of a play they want to run, maybe going to halftime all tied up. Want to remind you that our next girls game here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV will be tomorrow night when the Viking girls travel to Mondovi. That's going to be a critical Dunn St. Croix matchup between the Mondovi Buffaloes and the Colfax Vikings. We'll bring you that game remotely with Viking pregame at 6:55 and live play-by-play at 7:10. And then don't forget on Saturday, Dan, get your Woolies out again. We're going right back out on the ice for some ice racing. This time it'll be from Otter Lake in Stanley. And, of course, our coverage begins at 10:45. Vikings inbound the ball, come down the floor across the timeline. Feed it over to Heidorn at the top of the key. They get it over to the left side. Now back out high to Heidorn. About 6 seconds to go. Ball gets knocked away. And it's halftime. So the score at halftime, Elmwood Plum City Wolves 33, the Vikings 31. We've got Viking halftime coming up, and you are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Time now for Viking halftime with this week's edition of Viking Profile and the Colfax High School Report. That's all coming up following this brief timeout.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're talking with Max Knutson, and Max is a senior here at Colfax High School, and we're going to get to know Max a little better right after this timeout.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
We're talking with Max Knutson on Viking Profile, and Max, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
Was in football and track and field.
Okay, so when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of experience have you had?
Started playing as soon as I pretty much, and that's about it, just for my experience.
Okay, so what's the most important thing that you've learned from playing basketball?
Teamwork.
Okay. Now, when you're not playing basketball, or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
Hunting, video games.
All right, do you have a particular go-to video game?
Not really.
Okay. Now, this last hunting season, were you successful in the deer hunt?
No.
It's a big club. Don't feel bad. All right, I've got a few rapid-fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Ice cream.
Any particular flavor?
Chocolate.
All right. Your favorite color and why?
Red. I don't know. I've always liked red, I guess.
Okay. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
To read minds.
Ooh, that's kind of a scary one.
It is.
Do you have a favorite NBA team?
Milwaukee Bucks.
All right. How about a favorite college team?
Badgers.
And we're talking with Max Knutson here on Viking Profile. And Max, what are your plans for after high school?
Not too sure.
Okay. You still have some time, and you know what? There's no rush. You're young. You've got all the time in the world. How about a shout out to your family?
My mom, Becky, and my dad, Richard.
Okay. And when people are looking for Max Knutson, when they're watching Viking basketball on NLWN TV, what number do they look for, and what position do you play?
Number 3 in their shooting guard.
Okay. Hey, we want to thank Max Knutson for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next is more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Time now for the Colfax High School report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School.
At Colfax High School, last week, the girls Viking basketball team went 2-0 and took over first place all alone in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. The Vikings defeated the Boyceville Bulldogs 73-41 last Monday and then knocked off the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 66-43 on Thursday. That win left the Vikings with an 8-3 record overall, 8-1 record in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. The Viking boys split their two games last week. On Tuesday, they defeated the first place Spring Valley Cardinals on a last-second shot, 53-51. Then on Friday, the boys were defeated by the Elk Mound Mounders, 61-36. Now, coming up this week, the Viking girls have three games, traveling to Elk Mound to take on the Mounders on Monday, then hosting the Glenwood City Hilltoppers on Tuesday, and finally traveling to Mondovi to play the Buffaloes on Friday. We'll carry all three of those games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV, with Viking pregame at 6:55 and live play-by-play starting at 7:10. The Viking boys are scheduled to travel to Boyceville to take on the Bulldogs on Monday, and then travel to Elmwood to play the Elmwood Plum City Wolves on Thursday. The boys will then travel to Elk Mound on Saturday the 30th to make up their game with the Mounders that was postponed back on January 11th. We'll carry the Elmwood Plum City game on Thursday on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV, with Viking pregame at 6:55 and live play-by-play starting at 7:10. Also this week, the middle school girls basketball team will travel to Glenwood City on Tuesday to take on the Hilltoppers. The Viking dance team will compete in the dance regionals in Hudson on Saturday. And in addition, this week, the Dunn St. Croix Honors Choir band rehearsal will be held on Wednesday, and then their performance will be on Saturday in Spring Valley. Now, coming up next week, the Viking girls will travel to Spring Valley on Monday and to Durand on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Viking boys will host Glenwood City on Tuesday and travel to Mondovi on Friday. Next week, Saturday, the dance team will compete at the dance state competition in La Crosse. Hey, don't forget, seniors, scholarship applications are due next week, Friday, and the ACT test is next week, Saturday. And also, the FBLA Regional Conference is next week, Saturday. And that's what's happening at Colfax High School for the week of January 24th through the 30th.
You've been tuned to the Colfax High School report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School. Stay tuned. Coming up next is more Viking halftime and then second half action.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Well, Rick Olson here along with Dan Petschow, and we're getting ready for half number 2 of this game, where the Elmwood Plum City Wolves have a 33-31 lead over the Vikings. Now, it was 7-6 before we finally got the signal back, so we have 7 points for Elmwood Plum City that we don't have accounted for, and 6 for the Vikings we don't have accounted for. But Dan, tell us what we do have accounted for.
Yeah, here's the leading scorer right now that I have for Elmwood Plum City. Actually, there's two of them. I have number 10, Dane Whipple, and Tyler Bauer with 6 points. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer that I have right now is number 23, Noah Heidorn. He has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 is what I have. So that's what I have. Number 20, Tanner Hoffman. I have him with 6 points to be right behind Noah.
Okay, and so I'm not sure exactly what they're giving us a shot of there other than just working the camera around the floor. 33-31, we're getting ready to start the second half. Again, want to thank Elmwood School for providing us with the video feed. Even if it did freeze up on us at the beginning and we missed the first couple minutes of the game as we had to try to get the feed back. But that's sometimes what happens with these types of feeds, and I'm just glad we were able to get it back and bring you the action. Elmwood Plum City is going to be inbounding the ball. $18 minutes on the clock, and here we go. Down across the timeline and over to the right side to Webb. He feeds it into the lane to Bauer. Bauer drives down the lane, turns around, can't find anywhere to go. We have 3-second call in the lane. We have hardly ever seen a 3-second call, but he got one there.
Yeah, could have used the calendar on that one.
Just about. Vikings inbound it. Heidorn gets it back over to Hoffman. Hoffman trying to bring it down the floor, gets it across the timeline to Gibson. Gibson feeds it down to Erickson, but he can't find the handle. And down the floor come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Webb drives all the way down, lays it up, and puts it in. All right, Vikings bring it down the floor. They feed it over to Gibson on the far side, gets it down to Hajdukovic. Down in the right corner, he brings it back out between the circles. And the pass intended for Heidorn, and just a little bit out of his reach. Vikings have got to watch how they handle the ball. Down by 4, 35-31. Elmwood Plum City Wolves have it out at the top of the key. Webb gets it over to Gansluckner, then to Bauer, back to Webb at the high post. Now it's Whipple. He feeds it over to the left side, back over to Whipple on the right. He drives the baseline. It does not go in, and the Vikings come away with it. Down the floor is Heidorn. Feeds it over into the right corner. And now they get it out high to Hoffman. And then Heidorn with it. Heidorn drives down the right side, lays it up, and it goes in. Noah Heidorn with the lay-in.
Noah Heidorn picking up his game tonight.
35 to... That score isn't correct, is it? Anyway, Elmwood Plum City lays it in, so that should give them 37. But I think the scoreboard missed 2 points for the Vikings. And a traveling call on the Vikings. Yeah, I think they only gave him a point on that last basket. Didn't they have 30 going down? Anyway, we have a timeout on the floor. Maybe they'll get it fixed during this timeout. 37-31. Elmwood Plum City leading the Vikings.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
And we're coming back. I think they forgot to put a score up for the Vikings because it was 33-31 or 33-30 at half. And then on that lay-in, we only got 1 point on that. I think they forgot to put a point up for us. And We'll see what ends up happening, but I do think that score is incorrect. But out onto the floor come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Dan Sluckner inbounds it. And down the floor, they bring it. They get it out to Webb. Then to Gansluckner, high, wide, and right. Cross-court pass over to Bauer. Bauer feeds it out to Webb. Webb over to Gansluckner on the right. Over to the lane to Whipple. And we have a whistle and a foul. And I couldn't tell what number he held up, but it was against the Vikings. So Gansluckner to inbound it. He gets it out high to Webb. Webb with the shot. It's good. It's a two-point shot because his foot was draped right over the line. 39. The scoreboard says 39-31. We're going to respectfully disagree with that. Erickson drives into the lane. Shot goes up. It's going to count. And he drew the harm as he put the shot up. Now it should go from all right, they're saying 39-33. And the shot is up and good. And down the floor come Elmwood Plum City. 39-34, Vikings down by 5. They feed it out to Gansluckner, puts up the shot from just outside the arc. It's no good. Rebound being fought for down there, and we're going to see what the call is here. Nope, they aren't going to give him a jump ball. It's going to be...
I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. Nobody did go over to the scorer's table to give a number. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. They get it into Gibson. Gibson with a pass, and they get it down across the timeline now. That's Hydorn, or check the Erickson with it. Over to Hydorn between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side to Erickson, then back out to Hoffman. And they're saying Hoffman took an extra step. And so the ball goes over to the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Down the floor come the Wolves. They feed it over to the left side, and the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball. Tried to get it over to Bauer, but it was just a little bit too far to his left. He couldn't quite get there. Hydorn with it, takes it over to the left side for the Vikings. He's high, wide, and left. Gets it out to Gibson, top of the key. Three-pointer on the way. Gibson hit the three. Drew Gibson cans the three-pointer and makes the score 39-37. Vikings have cut it to 2. Whipple with it. Feeds it over to the left side. They get it to Webb at the baseline. He dribbles out, gets it to Whipple on the right side. Takes it down the right side of the lane. Kicks it out to Bauer. Bauer circles back around to the free throw line, then to Whipple from 3. Puts the shot up, no good. Rebound taken down by Elmwood Plum City. Feed it over to Webb, who puts it up. It goes in, and he drew the foul. So it'll be 41-37 with Webb at the line for the and one. Shot is on the way, rolls around, it's no good. Rebound taken down by Gillis. And they feed it out high to Gillis, coming down the left side of the lane, puts the shot up, it's no good. Rebound gets battered around and out to Whipple. Cross-court pass and gets knocked around out of bounds. And it's going to be Elmwood Plum City ball. Again, that was one where the Vikings could have caught the ball, and I think they thought it was off of Glenwood or off of Elmwood Plum City. Doing the same thing I did with the girls. Long pass. I think that was supposed to be a pass. It ended up going off the back of the iron, intended for Webb, but the Wolves get the ball and put up another one. It's no good. And Webb, well, that was after the whistle had blown. And we have a foul being called on the Elmwood Plum City Wolves.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the game. Making sure Colfax box is out there. I think Elmwood got 4 or 5 chances. Can't have that.
You just can't have that. Reebok comes in for Hajdukovic, and they bring the ball down the floor. Gibson has it, high, wide, and right. Gets it between the circles to Hydorn. Hydorn passes over to the right side to Erickson. Erickson just looking for somewhere to go with it. Gets it out to Reebok between the circles. He gets it over to Gibson on the left side. Gibson drives to the free throw line, into the lane, tries to put the shot up, and he got fouled on his way in. So Drew Gibson's going to go to the line for 2. He has a chance to cut it to 2 again. Gibson's shot is up and good. And his second shot is on the way, and it's good. So he does cut it to 2, 41-39. And down the floor come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Shot from 3 is off the back of the iron, and the Vikings come away with the rebound with a chance to tie, maybe even take the lead. Hydorn takes it down the left side, feeds it out to Gibson, high, wide, and left. Takes it to the free throw line, drives into the lane, feeds it off to Lenz, goes up, and the shot gets blocked. And Elmwood Plum City comes away with it, but it's being fought for in the backcourt. Finally, they get it across the timeline. Bauer with it on the left side. Cross-court pass over to Ganslutner, down low, that's to Bartz, and they put the shot up. It's going to count. That's Webb with the shot. He also gets it to go in, and he drew the harm.
Fouls on 33, Drew Gibson.
And we have a little buffering going on right now. Let's hope this clears up quickly. And we did get it to clear up. The shot went in. So 44-39. Vikings have it in the backcourt. Down the floor they come. Reebok with it. Gets it across the timeline. Ball gets knocked out of bounds off of Elmwood Plum City. Pass was intended for Gibson. 11:52 to go. Hydorn with it across the timeline. Takes it down the right side of the lane. Tries to feed it over to the wing. They got it over there, then back to Hydorn. Takes it into the middle of the lane. Short jumper goes up, and it goes in. 44-41. Vikings down by 3. Bartz tries to get it in towards the lane. It got knocked out of bounds by the Vikings. Ganslutner to inbound it now. He gets it out high. That's Bauer. Gets it across to Webb on the left side. Now Bauer between the circles. Over to Bartz on the right. Now they get it to Whipple from the top of the key. The shot is no good, and it goes out of bounds, and Vikings will have it. Full court pressure being put on by Elmwood Plum City. 44-41. Vikings have turned this into a one-possession game. Lenz has it, gets it over to Reebok. Down the floor, still in the backcourt. Gets it over to Hydorn, takes it across the timeline. Drives down the lane, lays it up, and it goes in. Noah Hydorn cuts the lead to 1. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds by the Vikings, and he went crashing into the chairs. Hopefully everybody's okay over there.
Yeah, I got number 23, Nora Heidorn has 19 points.
That was Caden Erickson, went crashing through the coach's chair, in fact. And hopefully everybody's all right. We have a timeout on the floor. With 10:54 to go in the first half, Elmwood Plum City 44, Vikings 43. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
High deductible health plan opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
And we're back here taking a look in at Elmwood High School. This reminder, we're also going to be having, well, we'll get to that later. Because the Elmwood Plum City Wolves have just inbounded the ball. They have a 1-point lead. Standing out high, directing traffic is Whipple. Feeds it down on the left side. They get it down to the baseline to Webb. He kicks it out high and then over to Whipple on the right. Then out to the high post to Gansluckner, to Bauer, to Bartz in the lane, then back out high. Gansluckner has it. Over to Bauer. Bauer back out to Gansluckner, back to Bauer. They're playing over on the left side. Over to Whipple on the right. To Gansluckner, out high, then to Bauer, jumper from three, and he hit it. Tyler Bauer with the three-pointer. (47-43). Heidorn with it. Feeds it over onto the right side. To Erickson. To Reebok. Out high to Heidorn. He's on the right side. Then takes it to the free throw line. Down to the left baseline to Lenz. Lenz gets it out to Charlo. And Charlo over to Heidorn. Heidorn at the top of the key. To Reebok. Reebok drives down the right side of the lane, puts it up, it does not go in. Put back shot by Lenz is good. 47-45, Vikings trail by 2. And Elmwood Plum City has it on the right side. Webb with it, down in the right corner. Feeds it to Bauer, driving down the lane, he lays it up and in. 49-45. Coming up on 9 minutes to go in the ball game. Heidorn with it, high, wide, and right for the Vikings. Drives down to the free throw line, tries to feed it down underneath. And he threw it behind Jack Charlo. And out of bounds, and Elmwood Plum City has it. Checking into the Viking lineup is Reed Gibson. Not Reed, Drew Gibson. Sorry about that, Drew.
Was there ever a Reed Gibson?
Yes.
There was?
Yes.
Okay.
Back in the old days when I used to work with the Menominee Thunderhawks, Reed was our student intern. And Elmwood Plum City Wolves feed it over to Webb, who puts it up off the glass. It goes in and draws the foul. It's about the third straight time he's put a shot up and drawn the foul and had it go in. 49-45, or check that, 51-45. Elmwood Plum City up by 6. And Webb looking for the +1. It rattles around and out. Lenz gets the rebound, and they get it to Heidorn. Takes down the right side, gets it to Reebok. Drives towards the lane, and loses the handle on it. And Elmwood Plum City comes up with it. Feed it down to the right or left side, then they drive in, put it up. It's no good. Put back by Webb is good. 53-45, back up to an 8-point lead for the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Vikings have it on the right side, and of course that's when our picture buffers. And down the floor come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. They evidently got the handle on it, put the shot up, and that one we know went in because it buffered again with the ball right halfway down the net. 55-45, a 10-point lead for Elmwood Plum City. I believe that's their biggest lead of the night. Heidorn with it, takes it in the lane, lays it up, and it's good. Noah Heidorn took it straight down the middle of the lane, put it up, and had it go in. Bauer with it, he feeds it over to Hartung. They get it over to the left side to Webb. Can't find it all the way into the hoop, so he kicks it back out. Hartung has it. Now over to Bartz, and down into the corner on the right side to Webb. They get it back out to Pelzel. And then to Bartz. Shot goes up, it's no good. Rebound. Controlled by Elmwood Plum City, but the ball gets knocked out of bounds off the Vikings. They have a couple of substitutions coming in. Waiting to get the ball. Now they get it over to Bauer. He feeds it out to Webb. High, wide, and right. Takes it to the free throw line, into the lane, then kicks it back out on the left side to Hartung. Feeds it down to Webb, lays it up and in. 57-47. Down the floor come the Vikings. Gibson from three, off the back of the iron, but it goes down. It went off the back of the iron. That's called the shooter's roll, I do believe. Three-pointer for Reed Gibson, and ball goes out of bounds off the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, and it'll be Viking ball, 57-50. Elmwood Plum City with the lead, 6:28 to go in the game. Crossing the timeline is Heidorn. Feeds it over to Gibson on the left side. Takes it down the left side of the lane, turns, squares up, puts the shot up, it's no good. Put-back shot is also no good by Lenz, but he drew the harm, so he's going to go to the line for two. Tristan Lenz.
Fouls on 22, Luke Webb for Elmwood Plum City.
See, you're going to be like me.
Right?
And the shot is no good. And Tristan Lenz's second shot off the front of the iron. It's also no good, and Elmwood Plum City comes away with it. Down the floor they come. On the left side. Pelzel gets it out to Webb. Then he kicks it back out to Hartung. To Pelzel, and then over to Bauer on the right side. Bauer drives towards the lane. Gets it out to Gillis. Then to Bauer, puts the shot up from three, no good. Gillis with the rebound to Hartung. High, wide, and right. Then to Gillis down in the right corner. Drives the baseline. Puts the shot up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Gibson. Drew Gibson down the floor. Stops at the top of the key. Feeds it over to the left side to Heidorn. Heidorn into the lane. Cross court pass. Over into the corner. Three-pointer on the way is no good. And down the floor come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Webb with it. He gets it over to Hartung. Then back to Webb. Down to Gillis in the right corner. They have it to Hartung on the right side. Then over to Pelzel between the circles. And now down into the corner, back out to Pelzel on the right side. Down into the right corner to Gillis. Feeds it underneath, and the shot goes up and in. Tyler Bauer on the shot. Vikings have it down the floor. 59-50. Elmwood Plum City with the lead. 4:43 to go. Taking it into the lane, and the shot goes up and good. That was Tanner Hoffman. And down the floor come the Vikings. Hartung with it. Feeds it over to the left side. They get it down into the corner. Kick it back out high to Pelzel. Then to Hartung from the right side. Puts up the shot. No good. Rebound taken down by Elmwood Plum City. There was no shot there, but a foul on the Vikings before he could go up with the shot.
Yeah, it's a hold on number 21, Tanner Hoffman for Colfax.
Actually, not a bad foul to take because it keeps him from getting the easy jumper because Hoffman had actually overrun the play. So he reached back and grabbed a hold to keep him from getting the easy one. Elmwood Plum City with it on the left side. Hartung with it, dribbles around high, stops at the free throw line, gives it to Webb, driving the lane, tries to go up, and no, they're saying he took an extra step. And the ball goes over to the Vikings. Vikings trail by 7. And they inbound the ball. Get it out to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic tries to get it across. Ball was tipped, and Elmwood Plum City comes away with it. Hartung tries to lay it up. It's no good. And we're going to get a foul called on Hydorn, I believe, as Hartung went up on that layup. And I think that might be number 5.
That would have been
Hoffman?
21, Tanner Hoffman.
Yeah, because Hydorn's standing right in front of us. So Hartung's shot is up. It's no good. And his second shot is on the way. And it's no good. Tristan Lenz with the rebound. Gets it over to Hydorn, who brings it down the floor. 3:50 to go. 59-52. Vikings down by 7. They need to start hitting their shots and stopping at the other end. Gibson with it. Over to the right side to Hajdukovic. Over to Erickson from the left side. 3, no good. Rebound, and they're going to get Tristan Lenz with an over the back. Or they're going to say the Vikings traveled with it because they didn't report anything to the scores table. Elmwood Plum City looking to get it in, and they do to Pelzel in the backcourt. Vikings putting on some full court pressure now. Down the floor comes Elmwood Plum City. They get it out between the circles to Pelzel on the right. Down into the corner to Webb. Then he feeds into the lane to Gillis, who lays it up and in. Basil Gillis with the 2, 61-52. 9-point lead again for Elmwood Plum City. Hydorn with it, gets it over to the right side to Erickson. Back over to the left side to Hydorn. Hydorn takes it out between the circles. 2:56 to go. Hydorn takes it down the right side, gets it out to Gibson between the circles. Gibson drives into the lane, puts the brakes on, gets it over to Lenz, and we're going to get a whistle and a travel by the Vikings. I believe Tristan Lenz took an extra step when he got the ball. So Elmwood Plum City to inbound it. They do feed it in. They get it down the floor to Whipple, who takes it all the way down, and it doesn't go in. We have a whistle underneath and a foul on the Vikings. Somebody got a hold on the rebound attempt, and it's going to send Basil Gillis to the line for, I believe it's a 1-and-1. First shot is good. Second shot on the way, it's also good. And the Vikings inbound it. Get it over to the right side across the timeline. Erickson takes it down, puts up the shot. It's no good. We're going to get a whistle and a foul. And Erickson's going to go to the line for 2. That was a pretty good collision down there as Erickson went up with the layup.
Fouls on 22, Luke Webb for Elmwood, Plum City.
And his first shot is no good. These are the ones the Vikings have to make. You get a chance without the clock running. You got to make the shots. Caden Erickson with his second one on the way. It's also off the back of the iron, no good. And Elmwood Plum City comes down with it. Feed it over to the left side to Whipple as he brings it right through the center circle. He's out high. He's able to get it over to Webb. Now to Pelzel. And we have a timeout on the floor. With 2:08 to go, it's the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 63, Vikings 52. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
And we're back here at Elmwood High School, and I did want to remind you a little while ago, and now I'll get a chance to, that NLWN TV is going to be bringing you Classic Wissota racing action, where we're going to bring back 7 of the races from last summer from the Eagle Valley Speedway. And I know John is working on some features. In fact, he's trying to deliver me some of those features, and we just haven't been able to make connection. But it will happen. And this is going to help you get ready for the 2021 racing season. Classic Wissota racing action on NLWN TV begins on March 17th. All right, the Elmwood Plum City Wolves inbound the ball. They take it into the backcourt, and we have a whistle. Foul right away in the backcourt. Vikings are going to get into that fouling game now. And at the line for Elmwood Plum City with his first shot, it's up and good, is Pelzel. And his second shot is on the way. It's also good. Vikings bring it down the floor, 65-52. Vikings down by 13. Feeding it underneath to Tristan Lenz, who puts it up off the glass and in. 65-54. Vikings with full court pressure. And Whipple steps on the baseline as the Viking pressure forces a turnover. They inbound the ball to Caden Erickson, who puts up the shot, and it's good, just inside the arc. 65-56, Vikings cut it to 9. Pass gets tipped, and the Vikings come away with it. Gibson takes it down into the lane, feeds it over to Hajdukovic, who lays it up and in. This one might not be over yet, Dan. 65-58, and Elmwood Plum City wants to talk about this one a little bit. So we've got Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear. Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Back at Elmwood High School, Elmwood Plum City Wolves with a 65-58 lead over the Vikings. 7-point lead. They get the ball inbound. Vikings still putting pressure on. Now they bring it down across the timeline, but the ball gets tipped, and they're going to get the Vikings with a reach. Looked like a pretty good reach from here, but we don't have the best angle in the world.
Yeah, I thought for sure Noah Hydorn had the steal right there.
So Whipple is at the line for the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. His first shot is off the front of the iron. It's no good. Here's where rebounding is going to make a big difference. Second shot is on the way, and it's good. 66-58. It's an 8-point game. Down the floor come the Vikings. They try to feed it down to the baseline to Lenz, and we're going to get a foul underneath. And I think we're going to walk the length of the floor because the foul is going to be on Tristan Lenz. They tried to get the pass to him, but they tried to go through an Elmwood Plum City player to do it. That player would be in the person of Tyler Bauer. And he's going to the line for the 1-and-1. First shot is up. It's good. Actually, they're in the double bonus now, so he was getting 2 anyway. Second shot is on the way. It's also good. 10-point game, 68-58. Down the floor come the Vikings. Heidorn with it. Gets it out to Gibson. Long 3 on the way off the front of the iron. No good. Rebound taken down by Webb. He jumps and feeds it out to Whipple. Whipple gets it down to Gillis. Lost the handle, then got it back. Tried to get it out to Whipple, and it was tipped out of bounds by the Vikings. So Elmwood Plum City to inbound. 57 seconds left. Dan Sluckner gets it into the backcourt. They feed it to Webb over on the left side. Over to Whipple, high, wide, and right. Back out to Whipple between the circles. And we're going to get a foul called on Heidorn, I believe. That'll put Whipple to the line for 2. First shot is on the way. It's no good. Second shot is up, and it's good. And the Vikings bring it down the floor. Heidorn with it. Feeds it over to Hajdukovic from the right side. Three-pointer rattles around and doesn't go in. And we got a whistle and a foul underneath. And we're going to walk the length of the floor again. .36.5 seconds left. Webb is at the line. His first shot is on the way off the back of the iron. No good. And the second shot is on the way. It rattles around and out, and Vikings come away with it. Down the floor they come. They try to get it to Erickson. They miss on the pass, and Elmwood Plum City gets the ball. They can't control it, and the Vikings have it. Gibson has it, puts up a long 3. It's no good. Rebound tipped around. Gibson has it. Turnaround jumper in the lane. It's no good. And away come the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Vikings can't buy a shot if their lives depended on it right now. And down the floor come the Wolves. We're getting close to 10 seconds left. And a couple fist bumps are going on out there, and that's going to be the final score. Elmwood Plum City Wolves 69, Vikings 58. We'll have Viking postgame coming up right after this timeout. You've been tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Viking Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Post Game, where we'll take a look back at today's Viking game.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Time now for Viking postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. And now, Viking postgame.
Well, I don't know what happened to us. Somehow the camera that was supposed to be on us isn't giving us what we're supposed to be having, and I don't see it there. Well, anyway, Dan, while I try to fix that, why don't you try to tell us what happened scoring-wise?
Yeah, here's what I have. We missed a few points at the beginning, but I think I got everybody after that. So here's the scores for Elmwood Plum City tonight. Their leading scorer that I have so far, number 22, Luke Webb. He had 19 points, followed by Tyler Bauer, number 24. He had 17. Followed by Basil Gillis with 9. We had number 10, Dana Whipple with 10. We had number 5, Zach Hartung, and Elijah Gansluckner with 3 points. And we had number 13, Jared Pelzel with 2 points. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer tonight was number 23, Noah Heidorn. I got him with 21 points. Big night for him. Followed by Caden Erickson, Tanner Hoffman, and Drew Gibson with 8 points. Followed by...
Hey, there we are!
Hey! And number 4, Nathan Heidukovic with 5. And number 22, Tristan Lenz with 4.
Yeah, it's just like magic sometimes. Things happen. Yeah, Nate Heidukovic, was that the one you said, or was it Heidorn? Had the big night.
Yeah, Noah Heidorn.
21-point night. That's a good night on what's got to be a pretty disappointing night for the Vikings otherwise. Because I know they were looking at coming into this game and coming away with a W and getting things turned around after that. Well, let's call it a Duran debacle from Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what you expect from your seniors, is a little leadership and get some points.
And he was able to do that, but boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, Webb was the problem. Tell you what, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a minute, but we're going to take a bit of a timeout here because you're tuned to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet,
NLWN TV is excited to present live NWARCI's racing action. Next Saturday, January 30th, we will present racing from Stanley, Wisconsin. Join us at 11:45 a.m. from Otter Lake in Stanley. These races are sponsored by the Curve Inn in Stanley. That's live ice racing action at 11:45 a.m. on Saturday, January 30th on NLWN TV.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
And Rick Olson back here along with Dan Petschow. And Dan, you know, on a night like this, you need most things to be working for you. I'm talking about the basketball players, not us.
Right.
We like to have most things working for us too, but you need the things to be working for you, and the Vikings couldn't buy a shot. They were having a lot of difficulty getting the rebounds with Webb in there. That 6'6" frame of his. And he's not only tall, he plays big. And that really showed up. He did a lot of damage, and he made a nice target on the outside for Elmwood Plum City to use as a pivot to just kind of direct traffic. He wasn't underneath all the time. He was out there with his hands up in the air, taking the ball either out high or down on the baseline and redirecting the things. The other players had plenty of chances to do things.
Yeah, and you know, they didn't get one-dimensional with him. I mean, Tyler Bauer was right with him too, and trying to cover two great guys at one time. You know, there's going to be holes in that around the hoop, and
Well,
got to be able to match up.
It's kind of like what Coach Knoll had said, that if they could find a way to shut Webb down, which they weren't able to do, then you hope that the basketball gods don't shine on somebody else and make someone else get super hot. And lo and behold, not only did Webb have a big night, but then so did Bauer.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of their team contributed tonight. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids put up points, and
the Vikings did not have that. They did not have a lot of shots drop. I mean, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players score. I guess that's almost the same. One thing, folks, I want to remind you that we did have those technical issues at the beginning of the game where our feed froze, and so the stats that Dan gave you are missing 7 points for Elmwood Plum City, and they're missing 6 points for the Vikings. So if you add those all up, they're not going to come out to the 69-58 final score. But so I don't know. Maybe Webb had even more points tonight, or so we don't know exactly how those other points went. All we know is that at the end of the game, the points didn't go the way of the Vikings.
Yep, you know, Colfax fought hard, made a run towards the end. You know, they did make some shots.
They got it down to 2.
Yeah, they got it down to 2, but they started trading baskets, and like I said, it was number 22 and number 24 for Elmwood Plum City. It's just a little too much for Colfax.
At least tonight they were. All right, we'll take one more time out, and we'll be back with a couple final thoughts right after this. You're tuned to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Hey. Okay.
If you love me enough to tolerate my perfect little pets and all their glorious dander, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
And we're back here with Viking Postgame. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow. And Dan, we've got some stuff coming up here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. starting off with tomorrow night, we're going to be right back here doing a girls' game as the Viking girls travel to Mondovi. This is going to be a really important showdown in the Dunsink Croix Conference. They take on the Mondovi Buffaloes. We're going to bring that game remotely, and we'll have Viking pregame at 6:55. Live play-by-play will start at 7:10. So, Dan, I'm going to see you back here then. Don't forget our next boys game will actually be in a couple of weeks. It'll be Monday, February 8th, when the Vikings travel to Spring Valley to take on first place Spring Valley Cardinals. We'll bring you that game remotely as well. Viking pregame at 6:55. Live play-by-play will begin at 7:10. That won't be the last Viking boys game. We do have one more home game to do, and that'll be a boys game. And that will be, let's see, I believe it's the 11th. The 11th. It's a Thursday, February 11th, as the Vikings will be hosting the Durand Panthers that night. And if you're looking at an old schedule, they will say that that's supposed to be on the road, but it's not. They switched those around when the COVID issues were hitting, and so we will have that game for you. And we'll actually be able to be there. We have 2 games next week for the Viking girls, and we're winding down the basketball season.
Yeah.
And we don't know yet what the playoff situation is, what the regionals will be, but we've been talking with the folks with Viking TV through the school, and NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network as an entity will not be doing the WIA playoffs. There's just a few too many hoops to jump through to make that worthwhile for us. But Dan and I have volunteered to go and sit down with their cameraman, Jeff, who also provides our video feed for home games. And we're going to provide play-by-play for them. And so if there are some regional games at Colfax, we'll be there. And we'll be bringing you all the action on those on our good friends over at Viking TV. And you can get to that through the school website. And it's a pretty easy thing to get to. But anyway, final score in this one, Elmwood Plum City, 69, Colfax Vikings 58. Dan, I'll see you right back here tomorrow night.
Oh, nothing better than a basketball game.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And so, for Dan Petchow, this is Rick Olson. You've been tuned to Viking Postgame. That final score, once again, Elmwood Plum City 69, Vikings 58 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.